What is up, everybody? It's Brett and Brian back with another tip for Tuesday. And anything that we've learned in this business, it's basically all about problem solving. One of the things that we've done to problem solve to help our sellers out is a lot of times they just need the money to close on the property that we give them for their property, and then they need to be able to have a little bit of time before they move out of the property. So something we've been able to do is we've been able to close on a property or find a buyer for that property and basically have an escrow agreement that allows them to stay in the property for maybe another 2 weeks to be able to gather their things, get the stuff out of there, and then be able to move after that. So within this business, you're always going to have to problem solve. And this is one of the ways that we've been able to do that and kind of help people out a little bit more, because a lot of times they need that money to close on the property before they can move or they can move on to their next situation. So that's just kind of come about. Brett, why don't you kind of talk about that, of how just an advantage that it's kind of given us as wholesalers, but also how we're able to bring opportunity to people that they've been able to have that closing check, but then also be able to maybe just have a little bit of money held back so they have that time and stuff.
Yeah, this situation actually arises more often than not because a lot of times people need that money from the sale of their home to move, right? Or to do whatever they need to do. They need that money in order to get the moving truck, get the moving crew, or move all their stuff out. So they need that beforehand. So what do? We used to just close on the property and not hold back any money. Well, that obviously created problems. There was no urgency for them to clean everything out, for them to move. So we started doing something called the escrow agreement, where we will hold back a certain amount of money from their proceeds. Typically, it's 10% of the sale, or $4,000 or $5,000, something like that, to kind of create that urgency. And we'll give them a negotiated amount of days. Typically, it's 7 days after the closing, possibly 14 days after the closing. Any longer than that, we have done, but sometimes, that creates more of a waiting game. And then if they don't move out at that specified time, we have something in writing that we will charge them a certain amount of money after that date for us to keep, right, as kind of damages. Typically, it's about $250 per day. So again, you're trying to create that urgency in them, helping them solve their problem. They need the money from the closing to clean out the property and move. We're solving our problem and creating urgency for them to move. And if they don't, we obviously get some of the damages from the escrow agreement. So that's something that we kind of have done. It's worked out really well. We see it all the time and a lot of situations. So again, we're problem solvers, and I think it's a great creative solution.
Yeah. It's actually created a situation for us too, where we can kind of put in that contract of like, well, since we're giving you an extra 2 weeks to get out, we expect the property to be cleaned out, completely and stuff like that. And so it's kind of worked out for that way too, that we're able to maybe get the property cleaned out, or we usually have to do it on ourselves, but the homeowner can sometimes do that as well. So so it's all about bringing opportunity to everybody that we kind of work with, but then also just problem solving around pieces. So all these things are always kind of happening and kind of popping up, and it's being able to kind of work around that and navigate to figure out the best solution for everybody and just a win-win situation. That's what wholesaling is all about. So we will see you next week with another tip for Tuesday. Take care.